Hi students, good morning. Welcome to the another session from Anand Medical Academy. In the part of biomolecules, first we completed the carbohydrates, next proteins, next lipids. Now I am going to stop this concept in the biomolecules lesson with carbohydrates, proteins and lipids only. I am going to connect this concept to the human digestive system so that you will have enough basics in both the lessons. When we start the classroom program, all the lessons you will start from ABCD. So let me connect biomolecules to the human digestive system. How? What are the enzymes that are responsible to divide, nothing but to break the macromolecules into micromolecules so that digestion will be finished. So enzymes required to carbohydrate breaking, protein breaking, fats breaking were present not at same place in our body. In different places of human digestive gut, nothing but alimentary canal, they are existing in with several juices. Let us see. Macromolecules like carbohydrates, proteins and fats, and also nucleic acids are also present, but the topic is not discussed in the basic concepts. Okay, so carbohydrates, proteins and fats. These macromolecules turns into micromolecules, nothing but their fundamental units by action of enzyme. By action of the enzyme. If in case of carbohydrate, amylase can be act. Then carbohydrates are becoming monomers. What are the monomers of carbohydrates? Simply monosaccharides. Glucose, fructose, galactose, like that. If proteins undergo the digestion, nothing but by an enzyme action, that is proteases. In the proteases, pepsin, trypsin, chymotrypsin, so many enzymes will come. We will see in soon. So then proteins become their monomers called amino acids. While learning the biomolecules, I introduced the different types of amino acids. Group of amino acids gathered by the help of peptide bond, they form protein. But here it will be reverse. Once the protein digests, how the peptide bonds will be broken up, then their units will be released into our digestive system. So reverse action. These amino acids are nothing but building blocks of proteins, but on proteins, proteases act, amino acids will come. In case of fat, lipases will be act, lipid, so that enzymes act on the fat called lipases, then fatty acid plus glycerols. As I mentioned in the previous classes, fats are not polymers. They are combinations of fatty acids and glycerol molecule, nothing but an alcohol molecule. So because of the action of this lipase, the fats lose their ester bonds, then fatty acids and glycerols comes. In detail, where these exact respective enzymes are present from mouth to intestine, let us see about the enzyme. What is enzyme? It is a biocatalyst. It can increase the rate of reaction. It may be decrease the rate of reaction. So reactants turns into products by biocatalyst action at certain pH and the temperature. This is what the basic point. How products are coming from the reactants? By the action of a particular enzyme in a particular pH and required temperature. carbolytic enzymes. Enzymes they required for breaking of carbohydrates are called carbolytic enzymes. They are also called hemolytic enzymes. Hemolytic enzymes. Example 1. Salivary amylase. Salivary amylase is also called ptyalin. In the another place of human digestive system, hemolytic enzymes are present. That is pancreatic amylase. Pancreatic amylase, another form name is amylopsin. Amylopsin. These two are having a common point, that is they helps to break the glycosidic bonds. Where does the glycosidic bonds are present? You have to use the knowledge from the previous sessions. Where does the glycosidic bonds are present? In carbohydrate structures. So these two are helps to breaking the glycosidic bond. Glycosidic bonds exist between the sugar molecules. Sugars. But what is the difference between salivary amylase and pancreatic amylase? Salivary amylase pH is 6.8 and pancreatic amylase pH is 8.4. Even though both are act on carbohydrates and break them into their respective units, at 6.8 pH only salivary amylase can act on carbohydrates, and 8.4, so it is almost alkaline in nature. Alkaline in nature means basic in property. pH is more than 8.4, so highly alkaline. Salivary amylase 6.8. Whenever the pH is 7, that is called neutral. When the pH is more than 7, that is base. When the pH is less than 7, that is acid. But here it is 6.8, means just 2 points only lesser than 7, so it is slightly acidic. Now another difference between these two is amylase can digest carbohydrates only 30%. So the food material what you consume, you have to ingest through mouth. In mouth the saliva will be released. That saliva consists of main enzyme, that is a digestive enzyme of carbohydrates, is called amylase. That is why the name itself given as salivary amylase. Salivary amylase, another name is ptyalin. Don't think that entire carbohydrates present in the taken diet were digested completely in the mouth. If we chew properly, then we can provide enough time for the mechanical churning and action of amylase on the food material what we kept inside. That is only 30% of carbohydrates only can digest. Suppose if we are not properly chewed, we swallowed the food material in a hurry way, then entire 100% means 70 to 100% of digestion takes place in the intestine. In the intestine. Why? Pancreatic juice will be released in the intestine. So in the conclusion what you have to understand, if carbohydrates are properly chewed, if food materials are properly chewed, carbohydrates present in that food material can be digested just 30% in the mouth and rest of 70% of carbohydrates digested in the intestine by pancreatic enzymes. Don't think inside the pancreas. In the intestine by the action of pancreatic enzymes. In case we are not properly chewed, means not providing enough time for the mechanical digestion or salivary amylase action in our mouth, then entire 100% can be digested by pancreatic amylase enzyme action called amylopsin action in intestine. So carbohydrates are finally digested in intestine. This is how we learned about carbolytic enzymes. Let us see proteolytic enzymes action now. If you observe proteolytic enzymes, their occurrence, in which location they are existing to break the proteins present in our diet. In mouth they were absent. One should understand, in mouth the saliva will be released on the food. On the saliva only carbolytic enzymes only present, not proteolytic enzymes. So in mouth no protein is digestible. After mouth, stomach is the place where digestion can be happen. In the stomach, proteins can be digested. So proteolytic enzymes are present in stomach. This is the where protein digestion can be start in stomach. Where carbohydrate digestion can be start in mouth. In stomach, there is an enzyme called pepsinogen. What is that? Pepsinogen. Pepsinogen is a precursor of proteolytic enzyme. Means it is inactive form. It cannot act. A protein enters in our stomach, then pepsinogen act, proteins cannot be digested. Then how does proteins digest in stomach? Because of an enzyme called pepsin. Pepsin is nothing but activated form of the pepsinogen. So pepsinogen becomes activated. Pepsinogen is inactivated. What is this symbol? This symbol tells you inactive form. Then this symbol tells active form. Who helps to turn the inactive form of pepsinogen into active form of pepsinogen? Answer is HCl, hydrochloric acid. In the presence of HCl, inactive form of pepsinogen turns into active form of pepsinogen. Then that is called pepsin. When the proteins act by the pepsin, they become peptides or proteoses or peptones. What are they? Suppose if it is 100 amino acid polypeptide chain, then peptides, proteoses, not protease. Ase means enzyme, ose means not enzyme. So peptides may be having a short peptide chain, and proteases are also short peptide chains. So a long peptide chain can be broken up into small or short peptide chains. They are not becoming amino acids now. But here the pH is required is 1.8. HCl also maintains 1.8. It is a highly acidic. 1.8 to 2.0 is the pH required in the stomach to digest anything. So pepsin could able to act on proteins but not finishing the digestion. They are becoming peptides or proteoses or peptones. This is what only type of digestion for proteins takes place in the stomach. Next part is intestine. Intestine means by pancreatic enzymes. First, pancreatic enzymes. Later, intestine enzymes. So, totally proteins can be digested by three types of enzymes. Number one is stomach enzymes, they are called gastric enzyme. Number 2 is pancreatic enzyme. Number 3 is intestinal enzyme. But their respective pH is different. To act the gastric enzymes on protein, the required pH is 1.8. To act the pancreatic enzyme is nothing but trypsin. And intestinal enzymes are nothing but dipeptidases and tripeptidases. Also monopeptidases. To act the trypsin, 8.4 pH is required. For all these intestinal enzymes, 7.8 is required. So, in 3 different pHs, proteins can be digested. Firstly, in the stomach, at 1.8, proteins can be digested by an enzyme called pepsin, but not complete digestion, partial digestion. That time, proteins becoming peptides or peptones or proteases. If not, the proteins can go directly into the intestine part. There, first they act by, it is a very, very important term. When proteins goes to intestinal region, which enzymes can act? Even though food particles are present inside the intestine, the proteins can be first digested by pancreatic enzymes. The pancreatic enzyme is called trypsin. Here it is pepsin. Here it is trypsin. This trypsin is also comes from another form, that is inactive form called trypsinogen. You just recall the phenomenon how inactivated one become activated. Let me tell you, the inactive form in the stomach for protein digestion is pepsinogen. Then because of the HCl action at 2.0 or 1.8 pH, the inactivated form become activated. So pepsinogen become pepsin. Pepsinogen cannot break, pepsin can break. In the same way, when does the proteins comes to intestine? In the intestine, trypsinogen, which is inactive, become trypsin. But here HCl is not available. Reason is, it is alkaline medium. Which enzyme is required or which chemical is required to convert the trypsinogen into trypsin? Answer is enterokinase. Enterokinase is a enzyme required to turn the inactive trypsinogen into active trypsin. Then this trypsin can act on the proteins or peptides or proteases and finally becomes amino acids. And the enzyme that also helps to digest the proteins is intestinal enzyme. They are dipeptidases, tripeptidases, monopeptidases. All these actions you will see in the next session. This is a basic concept. To understand more depth details in the next class. Okay. This is how the protein digesting enzymes are present in 2 places. One is stomach, second one is intestine. But number of enzymes, their action are 3. Pancreatic enzymes also action, and gastric enzymes also act, and intestinal enzymes also act on the proteins. Finally, proteins become amino acids. Then digestion will be finished. Let us see, fat digesting enzymes are what? Where does they exist? Fat digesting enzymes. They are also called lipases. They are also called lipases. In mouth, digestion takes place, but only for carbohydrates, not for proteins or lipids. So in mouth, lipases are absent. In stomach, lipases were absent. In intestine, present. Generally, you may have a guess like from the bile juice some enzymes are coming, act upon the lipid and lipids can be digested. The process is correct. From the bile there is a bile salts will come, act on lipid, but lipid molecules will not be broken up, then only emulsification takes place. The emulsification of fats takes place in only by bile salts. Let us see. When fat comes into the intestine part, on the fats, bile salts present in the bile juice secreted by the liver, they act at the pH of 7.6 and the fats become emulsified fats. Emulsified fats. The process is called emulsification. And this process is called emulsification. What is emulsification? Removal of hard layers or coat-like structures from the lipid surfaces is called emulsification. That emulsification is done by bile salts. They are not cutting process, they are just removing the layers around the lipid so that further process is cutting, that will be easy. Once emulsified fats act by the steaopsin. Steaopsin is called pancreatic lipase. Pancreatic lipase. So here also, even the fats digestion takes place inside the intestine, enzyme that is coming from pancreas is important. So in bile juice there were no enzymes. So bile juice is the devoid of enzymes. The first enzyme digesting fats is available from pancreas. So that pancreatic lipase, another name is steaopsin. Steaopsin required 8.4 pH. Why? It is coming from pancreas. You remember one logic? Any enzyme that act upon anything that is coming from the pancreas, then you have to write 8.4 is the pH. If any enzyme that act on anything, but if that is a salivary enzyme, then 6.8 is the pH. If it is an intestinal enzyme, 7.8 is the pH. Okay, these are the logics you have to follow. Then these emulsified fats become diglycerides or monoglycerides. Monoglycerides. You already learned fat is a triglyceride. One glycerol plus 3 fatty acids together is called one fat. So it has a 3 dehydration process. Once lipase is act, nothing but steaopsin is act, then triglycerides become diglycerides. Means one ester bond can be broken up. On the diglycerides and monoglycerides, diglyceridase and triglyceridases and monoglyceridases, ASs will be act. Then finally fatty acids and glycerol molecule comes. So these are the units of fat. In all previous video sessions regarding the biomolecules concept, you learn how they build. But in this session, the topic is reversed, how they break. For the breaking of a particular macromolecule, enzyme is required. Result, micromolecule. From the proteins, amino acids will come. From the carbohydrates, glucose and fructose like monosaccharides will come. From the lipids, fatty acid and glycerol molecule will come. But they are coming not by only physical process, a chemical process. That agent is enzyme. So respected enzymes are required enzymes of carbohydrates, proteins and fats. Where does they exist in our body? Mainly in the digestive system. At which pH they can promptly act to give products we have seen today. This session will be continued in the very next video class. Then we will complete each and every enzyme action and their products. I hope you understand, revise the concept and attend assignment. Thank you.